Hello, welcome. In today's video, we're going to be talking about standard output. So let's go ahead and begin. So we're going to start with standard output first. So with standard output, it's basically recognized by a greater than symbol, right? So with the greater than symbol, basically on the left side of the symbol is where our data is going to be. So data. And so on the right side of the greater sign is basically where we want to put our data. So we're going to put where to put data. Okay. So this is the data that we have. And then our standard output is recognized by the greater sign. And then we just go over here and this is where we're going to put the data that we want. So let's see what I mean here. Okay. So I'm going to create a file called nil.file. Alright, I'm opening in Vim. So as we can see inside of nil.file here, we see that we don't have anything inside this file. This file is basically empty. So let's go ahead and save the file here. I'm going to do my WQ and exclamation point. So I'm gonna clear the screen here. Okay, and then we'll just say echo, which basically prints wherever we want to print. So Neil is my dog. And then we're gonna put our greater than symbol to recognize our standard output. And then that file name, I believe, was Neil.file. Okay, so now we go ahead and hit enter, and then now if we open up that file or nil.file, we open up that file here, we'll see the data here, and we'll see now Neil is my dog. Okay, so now I'm going to exit out of the document here. Okay, and so let's see here. Let's clear the screen again. So one thing to note when it comes to standard output with just the greater sign here is that whatever data we put in here, so I'm just going to put Neil loves to eat. And then I'm just going to do my standard output again. And then Neil.file. So let's see what happens when we do this. So hit enter, and then now we just go to Vim, nil.file. So what do we notice here? Basically, it erased our first text that we had where it said Neil is my dog, but now it says Neil loves to eat. So that's one thing to note, that whatever we put in for standard output, if you already have something there, then you're basically going to overwrite it with your new data here. So that's pretty much what happened. But don't worry, it's a way that we can fix this problem. So to fix this, we actually have to append our data. So let me show you what I mean here. We can do this by basically the double greater sign here. So we actually took echo Neil won't bite, and then we put that in Neil.file. Now let's see what happens when we open up Neil.file. We see we have an additional line here where it says Neil won't bite, and then our old data that we had in this file, Neil loves to eat, then basically it shows here, bam, you know, that data is still there. So just remember that if you're using standard output, redirection is used with a greater sign. So the data go where you want over here with your greater sign here, but just know it will override this data unless you put a double sign here. So just remember that. So you have to double it if you want to just have your data added on to whatever old data you have in here. So that pretty much concludes today's lesson about standard output. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and of course we have many more Linux tutorial videos coming up along the way. Thank you for watching, and I hope you learned something.